History tells us freedom is not free. If you want to know the price of freedom, come here to Normandy. Come to Normandy and look. Go to the other cemeteries in Europe where our fallen heroes rest. Go back home to Arlington Cemetery. Tomorrow, I will pay respects at Pointe du Hoc. Go there as well and remember, the price of unchecked tyranny is the blood of the young and the brave. In their generation, in their hour of trial, the Allied forces of D-Day did their duty.
President Biden in Normandy, France today, marking the 80th anniversary of D-Day, June 6, 1944. It was a turning point of modern history as the largest group of military forces ever assembled. 160,000 Allied forces landed on the beaches of Western France. It turned the tide of World War II at the cost of thousands of lives. 3,000 American soldiers, sailors, and pilots died in just the first 24 hours of the D-Day invasion. One of those men who stormed the beaches 80 years ago was an Oregonian named Ashley Robert Russell. According to the Oregon Historical Society, you're looking at the last known photo of Russell, which was taken on D-Day as he filled his helmet with water. He was one of the first to land in France that day. The Historical Society still has letters that he wrote to his family back home. This letter is dated 10 days after the D-Day invasion. Russell started it with saying, "Dear Mom and Pop." Born in 1922, Russell was a well-regarded young artist in Portland before heading off to the war. Among his works in the Historical Society's collection are several paintings of the people and scenes he witnessed in Portland's jazz clubs in the 30s and 40s. Russell was killed by a German sniper in Normandy on July 15, 1944, less than a month after he wrote that letter to his parents. 4 years later, in November of 1948, Ashley Robert Russell's parents received this letter in the mail from the Secretary of the Army. Their son was posthumously awarded a Purple Heart. Another Oregonian who bravely fought on D-Day was KGW's own Jack Capell. Drafted at the age of 19, Capell was among the first waves of troops on Normandy's Utah beach with the Army's 4th Division. We went into the KGW vault and found a segment from our farewell to Capell back in 2000, where Jack talked about his D-Day and his service.
Then came HR, and the assault group slipped over the side and down into the barges.
We landed far enough out there that I actually had to swim to get to shore, yeah.
You won't hear Jack brag about it, but if you probe, you will hear the stories of a war hero.
But I could never bring myself to shoot a guy who surrendered, like some guys did, or a guy who I thought was more or less defenseless, you know. If the guy was shooting at you, no problem.
The American GIs were isolated into small groups and then ruthlessly slaughtered.
Jack had been in combat for 6 months when the Battle of the Bulge erupted in Belgium. Jack was admitted to a military rest camp for a 2-day respite, a chance to sleep in a bed and take a shower. But after just one night there,
this officer comes in there and says, "Back to the line, everybody back to the line." And boy, no way, everybody yelled, "We're not going back. We've got one more day here." And so this officer realized he wasn't going to do anything with us, so he went out, and a while later a colonel came up there, a full colonel, and he comes up there and he says, "Everybody back to the line or else you'll be shot for desertion." And so we reluctantly went down, loaded up the trucks, and started going back.
Jack was wounded once, catching on fire when a shell hit a nearby can of gasoline. He also shot down this German plane with a machine gun, and he talks about it with a humility that is his signature.
And that was a tremendous coincidence or piece of luck that I happened to shoot that plane down.
By the way, we heard from a viewer named Rob this week who remembered hearing from Capell shortly after the World War II movie Saving Private Ryan was released back in 1998. Remember that? Rob was struck by Capell's emotional reaction to the film back then. Impressive memory, Rob. We managed to track down that segment as well.
I'll see you on the beach.
Saving Private Ryan is more than just a movie to some people.
Got to me very close.
News Channel 8 weekend meteorologist and World War II veteran Jack Capell was a 20-year-old Army private when he took part in the Normandy invasion in 1944.
There's never been a movie made that I know of that's ever been anything like this one. They've all been glamorized. There was absolutely nothing in that movie that was glamorized.
The authentic combat scenes leave little to the imagination.
The only thing that was not shown graphically in the movie, something you can't show, that's because it's smell. The smell of the dead is something you're never without.
I mean, where's the sense of risking the lives of the 8 of us to save one guy?
The movie also brings out the personality dynamics that evolve on the battlefield.
Most of us, however, were not quite as nervous as those fellows were, would not show it because we were trying to cover up our fear, I suppose, what you might say. It was just a sort of a false braggadocio we had, I suppose.
The movie is intentionally disturbing. Jack Capell is glad he saw it, but wonders if it might be too much for some people.
I can understand why young people might not want to see that, but maybe they wouldn't believe it. But they should if they really want to know what happened.
Jack Capell retired from KGW in 2000 after more than 40 years here. In 2007, a book was published called Surviving the Odds, which recounted his experiences in World War II. He died in 2009 and was given full military honors when he was laid to rest.